And welcome everyone to Off the Page. Sorry we missed one last week. You can blame Joe entirely on that one. But yeah, thank you to the patrons who are insanely generous, who have probably already scrolled on the screen because, you know. And this week, I had some good books, but they weren't exactly like, oh my God, stop, you have to read this. They
Yeah.
just. So yeah, Joe's got the more important book, so this will be a more DC heavy
Well,
week.
yeah, because when real quick, we're deciding like what should we do. We're like Marvel Legacy matters, and then the DC books mattered this week, whereas the Marvel books probably didn't matter as much. But Mitchell probably mentioned a little bit before we get into Legacy, just for those of you who are keeping up.
You can follow us on Twitter,
Oh yeah,
Mitch692.
I didn't want to mention
half,
it, so
at halftime joke. No, we had to do it.
okay.
No, you can follow the channel on Twitter at Comic Cast. But Joe is going to start with the comics
Yep,
of.
let's get into it with the first one for me. Batman 32. This is, I think, the end of the War of Jokes and Riddles, which
Yeah, it
uh,
is.
I'm still saying this is a perfect animated movie. Honestly, this just shows of what Batman thought he did or what he was ashamed of all this whole time, and also further proves on of how like he really cares because they put up a panel or a page of everybody who died in that war, and it's like he remembers everybody. So it's like it's a very detailed thing, which I've loved about this arc, that Tom King has just been really detailed about it. So it is the conclusion. Joker and Riddler are starting to fight Batman, which the artists who worked on this did a really good job with the fight scenes. It was really movie-ish in a way. I don't know. Usually, I feel like it's always weird sometimes, but some writers can be. I mean, some artists can be very like, this is what's the storyboardish type of thing that looks really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's almost like take like also shots maybe from a movie, stuff like that. So either way, the fighting is good, um, and you realize the whole point of this, what the whole point of the war was, why Riddler started the war. It's because he wanted to get a win against the Joker. The Joker was the man who laughs at everything, but the Riddler was the only thing that the Joker didn't laugh at. So
Ah,
Riddler wanted a
that's
challenge of like that because Riddler is a guy who loves challenge riddles or challenges in a way. So he wanted that challenge to do it, and ultimately kind of fails. But it wasn't him who made the Joker laugh. It was kind of Batman because Batman, the whole thing of what he's ashamed of, which is really interesting. I didn't even think about it like this until like after like a couple minutes after I read it. Was Batman grabbed a knife and just plunged it straight towards the Riddler and was legit about to kill him. Like that's like, I don't know, you don't see that a lot. You don't like he was legit
no,
about to kill
that's
him, and the only reason why he didn't was because the Joker stood in front and put his hand in between the knife and the Riddler's face, and then he says, "Now that's funny." So it's like, and then
ooh,
Joker starts laughing. It's
ooh,
like, it's like
oh, that's a low moment.
that is, you just got
Yeah,
the Riddler. The Joker just won against both of them at once,
yeah.
and you hear it like in the whole bed thing, which apparently he's not naked because now you see him have boxers. I just thought it was like a shadow thing that
Lies,
was.
lies, lies. I don't believe that for a second.
But the whole thing was that Batman was ashamed that he was basically formed by the Joker. He felt that everybody thought of him as the hero, as the Dark Knight, as the
Well, I
savior of the
suppose
Guardian.
that's kind of how it's always been.
I guess
I
he doesn't like to
suppose.
think like that, but then it's
Like
almost like the
it's
truth.
yeah, it's just like yeah,
Because I think he thinks that everybody thinks the Batman was made out of noble causes, and sure, it could be in some iterations, but for this specific one, he is the Batman because of a certain way, because of the Joker and how
yeah.
yeah. So that
That's
was
a
the
very
thing.
it's a very Tom King likes to do interesting twists with Batman's origins.
Yeah.
Like he had the whole suicide thing where it's kind of like, yeah, that makes sense. I get why people didn't like it,
Oh, Catwoman and how
but
she murdered everybody.
I mean, there's that, yeah.
But
Uh,
which one?
it's I was thinking, when he had like young Bruce try to kill himself.
Oh yeah. I
That's what
remember
I was
that.
talking.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You're right.
it's like it's something where it's like, well, duh, of course you would. Like it's never really been like focused on. It's just that actually. This is why I like Tom King. He has a different approach to things.
Yeah, yes, he really does, and it's such a breath of fresh air, to be honest, because
It's
yeah,
like I'm going to take the obvious and make you go, oh, of course it is.
yeah, and
Like being forced by the Joker. It's like, well, of course he
but
was.
something even more like even that, I thought that was gonna be the high point. No, it gets even, I think, better with the conversation after with Selena and Bruce, and she realizes like, oh, that was it. Like she wondered if there was more to it. No, that was it. Like he was just ashamed of what he had become and what
Yeah.
made him who he is now, and like the Joker's like a bad thing himself. But what Selena says, which I really like, and it's because also I think, what was it? I think who said it? It might be the Joker who said it. Like what is the difference between a joke and a riddle? And
Yeah.
that's a question, right? That's a question that was offered to Batman and everything. It might have been the Riddler who said it. I can't be sure.
You watch, there's going to be plenty of like, oh, it's obvious what's the
I,
difference.
I,
It's like, yeah.
yeah, but it's not even the matter of the answer. It's what Selena gives, because she says, "Who cares?" Like honestly,
Yeah.
who cares? What's the difference? Who cares? And it's also going into what she explains. Who cares what you've been through in the past? We all have tragedies. They have all shaped us. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past. It's all about what we do right now. And then it goes into say it again, and then he says, and she says yes. Which I hope this lasts for a good couple years, because
See,
comics.
I highly doubt it would last longer than King's Run.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good 2 more years probably.
Depending how long King's Run is, we don't know. He might have only have a certain amount to tell.
I think he's
But
gonna be for 2 more years, to be honest, or something like that.
possibly,
Yeah.
but I don't know. This ain't gonna last. There's no way.
It's very
Some,
much.
some
Okay.
Something's got to happen. It just doesn't. It's not.
Well, it's very much Scott Snyder's thing, where his run of Gordon being Batman, or Batman dying, in essence, like it runs up until the next writer, and then this one, because I think
But
Tom
I
King.
think there is a difference, or personally there is, between like what Snyder did and this. Like, this is huge. What Snyder done with like killing Bruce and then having Gordon take over, that's kind of like just cheap tactic.
Uh,
But
this is like a big thing where like now they could actually get married. I would hope that there is an actual wedding. That'd be, imagine that comic and how much it would sell. Like the wedding of Batman and Catwoman. I don't think I've ever seen that. I honestly don't think so.
it must have been done
I
before.
maybe, but I don't remember. In my time of reading
Must have
comics,
been.
I don't remember it. So this is impactful, and I hope it lasts, and it probably will last, because Tom King has said that he wants to go on for another couple of years at least. Which, like he said, like 100 comics or something, but now, or something like that. But because it's
Oh
like,
yeah, we did, didn't we? Yeah. Well, what we up to now? You say
20,
30, no,
32.
32. Yeah, 32.
So he wants to
Okay.
go on for at least a couple of years, similar to Scott Snyder, where he went on for 3 to 4 years. So
So how long's he been going for now? It's just a year and a half, isn't it?
yeah, so he wants to go. It's gonna be for a while, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of it, what he's gonna do, because this is, this is a great thing. This is, I imagine that will be like a comic of the decade, if the wedding of Batman.
I was gonna say it'll probably be like sales wise.
Yeah, I mean, the wedding of Clark and Lois was a big thing. They had never gotten married before then. It's like
When
it was
was
like
that?
in the '90s, I think, when they got married. If I remember, I hate doing times. I hate going back to timestamps, because like, or stuff like that, because I'm not that good with history in that sense. So
Yeah.
I always get it wrong.
But I wonder if it would match the sales of the 90s, because the 90s were like millions, and the 90s weren't even the highest period in comic sales.
Here,
I think the 70s and 80s were.
Clark and Lois wedding.
I
Comic.
don't see it beating like
It
when you
was the
start-
'90s. It was '96. Superman the Wedding album.
Uh,
So there could be something similar, but more in continuity. Because this one felt like more of an offshot, even though it's not.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I mean, like the Batman wedding would probably do around like 300K.
they called it the event of the century.
I mean, it's not hard when you do it at the end, is
Yeah,
it?
so, all right. I'm gonna move on to the next one so we could get these through, because these next two are not that big. So it's Batman the Murder Machine. This is continuing like how these Batman became the Batman, and it's continuing the whole Batman on his last day. So kind of like we learned in the Punisher and the Daredevil, because the Daredevil show, because that's like what's recent in my memory. where he said, "You're just one bad day away from being me." That is them. That is all these Batman. And then somebody brought it up to me again that they said it at one point where it said, "One bad day of Batman is bad, but what if you had 7 bad days? That's the worst week in the multiverse."
Yeah,
Because there's 7 of them.
I saw a comment about that as well.
I was like, they said that in the actual comic. How did I forget that? I was like, you're right.
I was gonna say that's kind of a little thing you left out last time.
Yeah, but it's also, I've gotten, especially in the next one with Dawnbreakers, I've gotten to like it more in the sense. I didn't necessarily, I wasn't liking it that much. I was like, I thought it could have been different.
Are they doing what I said and they're all essentially the same thing? When you point it down, it's all just Batman becomes Blur because of bad.
I mean, to me, it just seems like Batman's Punisher in a way because they're all kind of they all have one end goal, but it's different ways to get there. So, Flash Batman, right? That one was he was fighting the Flash so he could get the powers to go back in time to do that, then to get his parents back, right? And it's all kind of similar where he wants his parents back. And he's getting each powers, like Cyborg's powers, Green Lantern's powers, and the Flash powers, everybody's powers to try to get him back. Eventually, he does it, and he gives into the darkness. So, and that's the whole thing where Batman never really gives into the darkness, but he holds it at bay.
Unless you're in the War of Jokes and Riddles, where
that's true. Where he almost basically gives in. So, but these are like different strides. So. But the funny thing about the murder machine was, you said it that everybody laughed that Cyborg just got jumped, basically.
Yeah, poor Cyborg. He can't. He looks shit in the movie, and he's getting jumped by everyone here.
I will say I really love the art on the murder machine one. I thought it was really great. It was like a sketchy type.
The panel I saw where they're all like standing on him. So that's good art.
Yeah, I really like the art. I also I don't like the logos on them. I like the logos without it. Because they just seem
it looks. They look like toys with the logos on them.
Yeah,
like really cheap toys.
I'm a fan of when superheroes have the logos on it, but like Wonder Woman has her as like a belt. Superman has the S on the chest, but like they're all different. And also here it's just like they put them there just to put them there so you can know who's who. And it's like no,
which I say is bad design if you got to put the logo on.
Yeah. Other than that, I like the designs, but besides the logo, so that one was pretty much like. The Cyborg one, like it felt like the art was great, and Cyborg. This was the first time that we saw them all together actually fighting because we didn't see them fighting in Metal, and we didn't see them fighting in the Flash one. So, art was like amazing. So, all right, going into the next one, Batman: The Dawnbreaker, which is the Green Lantern one. This one was after his parents die, the Green Lantern ring finds him, and now he's a Green Lantern, and he now uses it to kill all his villains. So it's like he's going pretty crazy, and oh no, the moment that got me, I think everybody else, because I saw people talking about it the same way, was he's talking to Gordon, right? And Gordon's telling him, you can't keep doing this. Somebody has to stand up and justice and all that. And saying, just because I know who you are, you're Bruce, like it makes sense. Because he's still like a teenager when he's Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And Bruce says this, shut up, Gordon. You have a daughter, right? Sad. She'll have to grow up without her father, alone. And he just obliterates Gordon. It literally got, I don't even know why. It just got me. Like, it just, what the...
Also, when is Destiny gonna sue for Dawnbreaker?
Oh yeah, that's also where I remember I heard it from. I was like, Destiny end this. I was like, what? But Destiny, of course, got it first. But yeah, and
it's just kind of like it's Batman going around with a giant fire blade, like just killing people.
Bro, he just kills all the Guardians and all the Green Lanterns. Like he literally takes their heads off. This dude is crazy. He's like. But the thing I love the most, I think the Batman I love the most, it has to be the Man Who Laughs. This dude is literally the best guy because I
say they've really kind of put him as like, this is the main guy.
But he's
like,
not, technically.
You have the Barbados, or whatever his fucking name is.
That's his name, yeah.
The background, obviously he's going to be there at some point. But the Batman Who Laughs, they definitely set up as the guy pulling the strings.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a whole twist where it feels like they've done it in TV shows as well, where the second guy is gonna upset the main bad guy so he can take over because he did more of the legwork.
To be fair, I think a Batman Joker hybrid would probably be the one
Yeah.
in in Snyder's mind to wreck the entire
He,
movie.
look at hear this dialogue. Call me the man who laughs. I am recruiting. This is the Red Death and the Murder Machine. You'll be fast friends, I'm sure. You have so many things in common: revenge, justice, first names. So that line just got me. I was like, when he said like, you got so much things in common: revenge, justice, first names. Like, yeah, Batman. That's their first name. It's like he's the best. He also has a really like super edgy design too. It's like, but.
Yeah.
It's so good, and also at the very end, Dr. Fate saves Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, like he's saving everybody else, which we'll learn later in this Green Arrow comic coming up. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the Dawnbreakers, because they're all just tie-ins of like how they came to be. But the more important one is Green Arrow. What is it? 32. This is apparently really important because it tells you how they're gonna be able to defeat the Batman. And
Which to me
yeah,
seems like it should be in a main book.
yeah, and it also tells of what Doctor Fate has been up to. That he's
Yeah.
been collaborating with Zatanna, and they're trying to find a rendezvous point for all the Justice League members, so that they could talk without Barbados listening in and stuff like that, away from that kind of magic.
But this seems really strange to have in a Green Arrow book.
I know.
Like of all the like, not throwing shade on Green Arrow. Green Arrow is perfectly fine, like, But really,
Yeah.
like of all like, why not have this in the Batman or the Superman or what? Wonder Woman might even fit better. Like, why is it Green Arrow?
And it
Like,
also
have they had the connections to get to this point with this book?
no, not for Green Arrow, because it
Uh,
starts off as like a basic Green Arrow thing where he's fighting like the like a certain like villains that he knows of, and he's fighting with Mr. Terrific and Nightwing, all the, like the group that's been with them right now, and
Actually, hold on, I'm going to retract that
it,
about saying why isn't it in Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman? They're all dead.
yeah, technically, I guess, yeah,
I just remembered that. So actually, I'll let them off. The kind of
uh,
having it in a more random one like Green Arrow.
yeah,
Probably.
but they're all fighting, right? They're doing the regular thing, which reminds me of like a video game in like MMORPG or like The Witcher, Game of Thrones type of stuff, and then Robin gets held by one of the Robin vampires, and before like he doesn't want to leave like the Titans or anybody, whatever, but the man who laughs like somehow brings all the other Batman there, and they're about to fight, but Dr. Fate's like, no, y'all can't die right now, we're gonna bring you back, and he's basically trying to save them. And but they realize the way to kill him is the nth metal, the metal that Hawkman and Hawkwoman use, the metal that's like was in
Oh yeah,
people's
yeah.
things. That's
I
the
would
thing
have.
to kill them.
I
That's
would assume that's how it's going
so
to be
it's the
anyway.
thing that brings him here is the only thing that can push him back,
Yeah,
because the
which
nth metal
makes
is what brought him
sense.
here. Yeah, it makes sense
Yeah,
story wise. Like right, it's like
it's a very like cliched, simple, but sometimes simple and cliche isn't the wrong answer. It can
yeah,
be the
it's better to just not stray away, right? It's just like okay, yeah, that makes
say
sense.
just keep it literally just keep it simple. Like don't
Yeah.
needlessly overcomplicate things.
Yeah,
I love
so that's pretty cool.
Plus,
But
it is called metal. Like, of course, the fucking
yeah, they all have different outfits too, where they're all so much better looking in this Green Arrow because they all have hoods, and it's like Nightwing, Green Arrow, and Damian, and I'm like, they all look so cool in this issue. In this issue, they didn't look as cool before. But yeah, other than that, like it's crazy. Like they're talking about how the future of the world hangs in the balance, and Barbados is there, like listening and stuff like that. So it just feels weird that this is in Green Arrow. But either way, like I'm excited for what this has. This has just gotten me even more excited. All this stuff because
yeah.
it's just cool, fun, and I hope in the trade that it's all together because I don't want it to be like
I'd imagine so. I'd imagine it would.
the only thing because like Secret Empire where you found out that Bucky was still alive in a tie-in, right?
Yeah, but I'd imagine
I'd
maybe
hope they put that in the trade.
because obviously you get like the collections
Yeah.
of everything, the massive like collector's edition version they're doing. I'd imagine they'd put that in there. So I'd imagine you probably have like the Captain America runs leading up to it, the main books, the main tie-ins because they were essentially the main book but with a subtitle,
Yeah.
and then like the Sam Wilson Generations because that kind of really is the end of Secret Empire.
Yeah.
So
real quick before we go to Legacy, how are you feeling on Metal now? Because I remember you liked Metal #2 and you thought it was like this is what made it great. But hearing some of the stuff of like what I'm saying and
It sounds a lot more in line with what I was expecting it to be and what I was kind of hoping it would be. I'm warming up to it, but I'm waiting till the third one,
yeah,
and hopefully, because the third one's really going to be the start of everything. Like we've
yeah.
had our setup, let's actually now get things going. So hopefully,
And you made a good point by saying it's like a fun dark type of thing because it's still really adventurous.
it's just keeping that like not light-hearted tone, but it's not bogging itself down with everything. It's like no, we know what we are. Like this is all silly. It's a comic book for God's sake, but.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what it holds. What else the Batman are up to? I really hope they don't go down easy because they really beat Cyborg super easy. So it's like I'm sure they're gonna have an issue where they win, and that's kind of how it goes. Like the bad guys win at one point. Like the Night King literally just destroyed the wall and he destroyed a dragon. Yeah. So it's like I'm sure they're gonna do something big as well. I don't know what it is yet, but yeah, it's exciting. So with that. We're moving on.
Just before we get into Legacy,
your thing. Yeah.
I just want to quickly say, Guardians of the Galaxy, this issue this week didn't have them in it at all. It was all about Richard Rider because Dugan's bringing Rider in to rebuild the Nova Corps. He will eventually be back on the squad like he was in the '08, but he gives a twist. Like if you know Richard Rider, if you've been reading for a while, you know he has a brother. He has like Robbie Rider or Bob Rider. So Richard gets like a call or like a distress call from him and he goes looking for him. And it turns out the Talon, or not the Talon, there's no they are called Talons in this, copying DC. But the Fraternity of Raptors have basically recruited his brother. And the main Talon or Raptor we've seen throughout the Guardians book is his brother. And it's kind of like, oh shit. So I'd highly suggest jumping on the Guardians book with Dugan because more people should. It's a very like underrated book at the minute. Spirits of Vengeance was really good. They did a nice little job setting up the mystery of that book. You only really got to see Hellstrom and I forget which Ghost Rider is, but Ghost Rider's in there. It's mainly them two setting it up. And the Avengers started their crossover with Champions this week. I was going to skip it because I didn't want to go from one crossover to another with the No Surrender stuff. And then everyone on my Twitter was just saying how good it was, and it's actually really fucking good. Like it's the whole things with the high evolutionary Counter Earth. The champion or the younger Avengers don't believe the Counter Earth's there, but the older Avengers are kind of like, no, it's there. We've been to it. And then like the satellite is going around Earth and it's showing nothing, but then a massive meteor heads towards Earth, and like it's vanishing in and out, and people are noticing it and not. Like, the whole issue is really the two teams working together and setting up those dynamics since like they broke off from the Avengers, and it's actually a surprisingly really good book. Like it's more adventure-y. It's not like tiny that Mark Waid's been forced to do. Like it's not like the old Kang War. It feels more how an Avengers book should feel, sort of thing. So if you've been off Avengers, it's probably a good place to pick up.
Yeah. All right, you ready to get into this, the main event?
Yes. I just had to mention this because I thought it deserved attention.
I say so, like because the recommendations are key, and people were probably wondering, like, oh, I wonder what Mitch thought about this week because you do Marvel comics every week, so it's like
I do.
Yeah. So all right, Marvel Legacy #1. It's the big shebang here, 60 pages, I think, right? About 57 or 58, whatever, 55, 50, I don't know.
It was something above average.
Yep. I figure break this into sections, right? First part, where it's the Marvel, it's the BC Avengers. There wasn't enough of them, in my opinion.
No. But at the same time, doesn't they do their job?
Yes, it did exactly what it did. It wanted me to have a comic of it.
No, I will agree with a lot of people where they say, they pushed them so hard and they had, 4 or 5 pages, if that.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's kind of like, well, hang on, where I was expecting more of them. The fucking woolly mammoth was dead before we even got to see. It's just like, oh.
That's so true, man. Like, Well, see, what I had initially thought of that, I thought the mammoth died on its own, and then Ghost Rider was gonna use it and bring it back to life in flames and stuff like that. That's what I
I
thought.
mean, I was expecting something like that, but it's kind of.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Karen did his job with that, and I think obviously there is a reason because he's not exactly being coy about it. He is writing the Avengers BC, so he's
Ah,
clearly taking over Avengers at some point next year. So we will get to see them, and
yeah.
obviously you can tell the Avengers lineup from this. It's quite obvious.
It's so good though. I really wanted more of it, especially when they said like I was wondering what they were talking about, and then they said, "Oh, it's a celestial." I was like, "Oh."
It is a celestial, but it's not one we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like the first
Like
one maybe.
you couldn't actually look at anything in Marvel and go, oh yeah, that's on this. That's a brand new celestial right there.
Yeah, so, but
You know, it wasn't even in the Ultimates too when the Celestials and all that stuff.
I really like their interactions though, where like Starbrand wanted to eat the mammoths, then Ghost Rider was like, "Nope." So
It's kind of how I'd expect it, where they're not really a team. They just
it's,
together because they kind of have to be.
it's the Avengers.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I
Well,
always felt the Avengers was more so.
I mean, the Avengers was more of a hit squad.
Yeah. Okay.
I always felt
True.
like the military strike team sort of thing.
Yeah.
There was precise, but it's the Dawn of Man. They're not exactly going to be precise about anything.
Exactly. But yeah, it just looked really good. The art was good. The characters and just really wanted more of them. So it's gonna suck that we're gonna have to wait maybe a year or more for actual more stories about them.
I wouldn't say a year. I'd say after Infinity War, around that.
Okay.
That's when you'll start to get Aaron
Because
stuff.
they don't want to mess with the coinciding of Avengers, the movie, and then
Because
Avengers. Like, yeah,
I'm just gonna say this right now because they're doing their legacy numbering, right? And
okay.
if you look at the patterns, like you can see how they're aiming things. And you got the Avengers No Surrender stuff, which you find out is a thing because of this book. That's weekly. That's gonna go up to Avengers 690, right? Which if it comes out around April would mean if you have Avengers once a month it would be Avengers 700 by the time Avengers 4 comes out.
You know what? There really needs to be just a BC Justice League. I really am because there's a
Well,
future one.
has there been? We've been
I
over
mean,
this before.
there's just the
Uh,
Justice Society, and that's only like the 1920s.
that's true.
But there needs to. We've had this conversation really quick, really quick. I don't want to get too much on it, but
Yeah.
it'd be probably Jor-El's father or Jor-El himself. It'd
But would
be,
it? Would it?
or actually, it could be longer. I mean, I like to think just so you can have it like that, like you can have it in the family, or maybe it could be Zod's father. I don't know. You could be future Barry because Barry loves to time travel when he gets himself stuck in the past. He's like, I might as well stay here.
True.
The first Green Lantern, Cyborg wouldn't be there. You wouldn't have Cyborg. Who am I thinking? Aquaman could be Aquaman's father, which I mean, well, not Aquaman's father. Well, because his father is a human.
I mean,
So
you can. Oh, you
the
could
the
do that
king,
as
the king
mother.
of Atlantis, the first king of Atlantis. You can have it like
Yeah.
that. I guess whoever the husband to his mom was, because she had like quote unquote an affair with like a human. So
Yeah.
so that you could do probably Martian Manhunter, but it probably wouldn't be him.
So just have a Manhunter on there.
Yeah, one Manhunter and stuff like that. Like I just think that's it, like a BC type of thing. That's just interesting. Why not? Like caveman type of feel.
It's an idea that should be played out by now, but it's really not.
It
Like
isn't, man.
like there was a point where you'd see that constantly, but now you just don't see it at all. Like,
Yeah, I've gotten the sense to like it back again. So all right, going past that, which I really loved. We go into the present now, and I had to like dig this
I
when
was
I
gonna
saw
say,
Robbie.
can we just take a minute
Yeah.
that Robbie Reyes has been thrust right into the fucking middle of everything?
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking
It's
about.
like, well done, Aaron. You kind of fucked about with Robbie a little bit. I don't care. Completely don't care.
He kind of like the one thing I will say got it from his character, the way he wrote Robbie, was that he inferred that he had a lot more character development than he actually had in comics.
I mean, sure, it's kind of like, hey, Felipe Smith, what were you planning on doing?
Yeah, and yeah, he basically
But
took what probably Felipe wanted to do. He's like, oh, they canceled me because I was doing it bad. So here's what I wanted to do.
like, at least you can kind of see that it fits in line with the trajectory Robbie
Yeah.
was having. So that makes sense. My issue is, well, it's not really an issue. It's kind of like, well, how has he got the penance there? He's not a spirit of vengeance.
See, yeah, that could be a little retcon, or it could be something they'll explain later. Hopefully.
No, well, it's at the minute it's 100% a retcon. Obviously, like you can kind of go, oh, Eli was always.
I,
I suppose it's still kind of be a retcon, but
I like to assume that he's gotten so much in control of him and Eli, which I assume Eli's still there, that he's gotten new powers. But that's just me.
I mean they were all in Felipe like the last run of Ghost Rider. He was building him up to have more power.
Yeah, so
It might not necessarily be the penance there, but he was getting stronger. So it kind of
that
you
could
could
work
just
out.
go, oh yeah, it was just learning that. It was gonna learn it
I
eventually.
will say that the artist drew him like super high or something in that one page where he wakes up first.
Yeah.
He like just woke up. He's like, oh. I was like, oh my god. I I didn't, and it's also really funny. But I didn't. I mean, I expect this probably Starbrand to be a part of it, but Starbrand and Ghost Rider, because they had like a little thing like in their BC Avengers thing, and then now they also have a little thing. It's like, it's poetry because they're yeah.
I was gonna say you could. This is my point with Marvel Legacy. You can clearly see what they're doing, and the kind of how Jason Aaron's Avengers is gonna be. Like you can kind of see that it's gonna be going backwards and forwards between the BC and the current Avengers.
Oh, that's exciting. To be
While
fair.
the members are obviously going to match up because they're all having dreams about their caveman self. I don't know how the Odin and Thor one's going to work, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like,
or
it's like,
Iron
oh,
Man.
I'm having dreams. Well, Iron Man's not going to be part of it, is it?
Oh, that's true because Ironheart's there, so I thought she
Like,
would, but no.
you
Okay.
can see that the Avengers roster come Aaron will be a Thor, a Starbrand, a Ghost Rider, an Iron Fist, Doctor Strange, Phoenix.
Yeah, so,
No,
yeah, okay, I agree. I
yeah.
hope Starbrand isn't gone though, because the penance there
Yeah.
like made it seem like it, but I don't think so.
No. If he is gone, he's done him dirty, and
Really, like dirty, really.
it's like you shouldn't be able to kill Starbrand that easily.
Unless Ghost Rider's is that strong, but at the same time, yeah, you shouldn't be able to.
Well, I mean, he's the planetary defense force. He has
It's
the
true.
power of the entire planet. Like, he should have really died. But I
Facts.
love the art of Ghost Rider. He's never looked as good as he has in this.
Let me see. I'm looking at it. When he turns into Ghost Rider, yeah, like
I
that
just
one, like that full panel.
yeah, and it's just a white background. It's just him. He just looks so
I
good.
I can't.
It's such a good design for Ghost
It's
Rider.
hard to infer what Aaron was doing when he says by the something damn Ghost Rider. Was it the F word? Was it I
It's
don't-
the goddamn.
oh,
And a lot of people cottoned onto this. It's like, hang on, you censored it here. But they say God later on and don't censor it. But before this, they say hell twice. So why aren't you like censoring it?
I guess it's in a sense of like I guess it could be just him, and also when you put those two words together, it's never like people don't necessarily like it all that much. I guess
Yeah, but it does it
It's
was
weird.
kind of like a really.
I didn't expect that. Like okay, like
No, it's just kind of. I think that's how people like noticed it. It just kind of stood out. You weren't expecting it to be censored. It's just like, oh,
but yeah, I say the same thing. Ghost Rider looked the best he's ever looked. But it I guess finishing up that part because that like something else happens in between where he then dies later or stuff like that. So kind of finishing up that part where it seems like they're gonna be really. This is how they got to know each other because they never met each other before, but. It really seems like they're still going to even be fighting later on, right? Like,
oh yeah, it's
never
definitely
gonna
going to be like an uneasy relationship.
which is what makes it interesting, I
Yeah.
would say. But
Yeah, like
yeah.
you always have the like in the Avengers, you always have the two that don't really get on.
Yeah.
Like the Cap and the Iron Man, the Thor and the Hulk. Like, yes, Thor and Hulk like each other eventually, but you always get that.
See,
Yeah.
I found this interesting when he said the sleeper will wake, the horde will feed, the final host will, and then he dies or goes away. It's like,
Yeah.
I wondered what he meant by that. Like, did he mean
What-
him
what the-
or did he
What the
mean
what the final host is?
for Starbrand?
Well, I mean, well, he's talking about the Celestials.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the Horde. He's talking about like this actual group of Celestials. The final host, which a lot of people are saying is when a Celestial comes down, like a single one. It's not. The host is a judgment. Well, it's a test of judgment. And the thing about this one is the Celestial in this has like the judgment formula on his thumb, which he shouldn't really have. There's only one Celestial with that, and it's not him. How we got that? Hopefully we find out. Because
Oh, go ahead. My bad.
I know, I was kind of finished there.
So, but I was gonna say this is like the opposite. You said it's the opposite of Rebirth, where I knew more of the detailed stuff and you didn't, so I informed you some stuff. You're gonna have to inform me of some stuff. I didn't know that meant about the Celestial. So
No, it's a very obscure thing, and it kind of fits in line with the Ultimates 2, where like the Never Queen was like, "Yeah, go bring about the fifth or final host," which I can't remember which one she said. So it fits in with what Ewing was doing as well. So what I wonder if it's going to come from that with the aspirants and the Celestials. Maybe, I don't know. I can't say for certain. But...
All right, getting into the Loki stuff, because we're doing it in sections. We're not just going through the comic. We're going through sections. So like the first one, BC Avengers. Second one was Ghost Rider and Starbrand. The Loki stuff, which ultimately ends him waking up the Celestial. Like, what did? So he wanted an Infinity Stone, right?
Does he wake up the Celestial? I don't think he does.
It seems like he does.
No, because it's the architects that wake up the Celestial.
No, but at the very end, there's a point.
Oh, he's there, isn't he?
Yeah. So the whole Loki thing was he gets what do they call it? The Frost Giants, right? Like the Frost Giants.
Frost Giants, yeah.
Yeah, he gets a pack of them. It's like, we're all in this together, brothers. But you need to go do my dirty work, which I found funny.
Yeah. But it's strange because in that moment, he kind of says he wants to save the world. I think a lot of people have missed that. Unless I just read it wrong. It's like which if he is trying to save the world is interesting because with Donny Cates, Doctor Strange book, he's taken Sorcerer Supreme. So is Loki's trying to amass all his power because he knows something's coming?
Yeah.
Or is he actively trying to do something? Like, I can't. I suppose it's quite good because it's Loki. You can't figure out what he's fucking doing.
No, but I just think it's cool that he kind of woke up. He's like, summon the final host, and he's like, yes. Why don't we do that? Like that's something that reminded me of Rebirth 2, where like I love these little setups that are gonna be later.
Well, Loki's very much at the center of everything because he's also Duke's Galaxy Run.
Yeah.
He's the one he pushed the Gardener into killing Groot and doing all this stuff, and he wants the Infinity Stones. It's kind of...
I've read Marvel comics before, but I don't. You've read clearly more than me. So was Loki like similar to the movies, always in the center of it? It seems like he is. Like, the movies, he's in the center of everything. Seems like with Thanos, always with Thor and stuff like that.
The movies kind of, yeah. The comics, I don't remember him not this much.
Yeah.
Like in Thor, yeah.
Yeah, sure, but like in the overarching.
Not from what I remember in the grand scheme of things, no.
Right.
But not in the last 15 years, I wouldn't have said.
So, this ties into the section, but like what they wanted was an Infinity Stone, right? Because Wolverine, that's how we see his comeback. Oh yeah, spoilers, Wolverine's back, which we've known a little bit because they announced it ahead of time, I think, right?
They announced everything ahead of time. That was the big issue with this book. They nothing in this was a surprise because they said everything.
That sucks. Man.
Like they told us, because let's be honest, like Rebirth and Legacy is basically a preview book.
Yeah.
And with this, we knew where everyone was heading because they told us the lineup for Marvel Legacy. And they told us what the arcs are going to be for those stories. So we already knew the setup for this. Which, I mean, sure, if you don't follow the news and all that stuff, you just go, oh, there's Marvel Legacy, I picked that up. You'll have a different experience.
Yeah.
My major problem isn't with the book, it's with the fucking marketing of it. But
yeah, it's a little weird too. But, so, yeah, Wolverine is back. It's officially back. Which we always kind of assumed he was alive in there, right? He was just stuck. He's stuck.
No, because his healing factor was going. I thought, or he didn't have his healing factor anymore, and that's why he was gonna die.
Oh, okay.
I think that's how it was supposed to go. Yeah. But my problem is, I think they thought the Wolverine return was going to be bigger than it was. Because the whole we've had a Logan-free Marvel universe for 3 years, and it's how has it been Logan-free?
Yeah, you've had Old Man Logan.
You have Old Man Logan. All new Wolverine is a gender-bent Logan. She is a clone of him, so you have two walking around. You just brought his son from the Ultimate Universe over. You then have Duncan coming back in for the Marvel Legacy like arc of all new Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like we have Wolverine. It's not like we haven't been without him at all. It's kind of a
Yeah.
gassing yourself up moment there. It's just like, all right.
And I do love that Jean Grey is the one's like, "Welcome back. You know, we missed you." And that sense where she's gonna be important too later on. So
Oh yeah,
that's
she must be.
yeah. But I'll be honest, I forgot that they announced Wolverine. So when I saw the claws, I was like, "Yo, Wolverine!" And I was like, "Oh wait, didn't they announce this?" And then
The thing is, I get why they announced it because they're preempting the leaks. It's like
yeah,
it's going to be leaked anyway. Might as well just announce it ourselves and
the
get ahead of
Watchmen
everyone.
stuff was.
Watchmen stuff leaked on the Friday before. Like,
Yeah, so
Christ.
I stayed away from the leaks, but a lot of people are more inclined to know, to want to read it so they know ahead of time and stuff like that. But I don't know what's
Also,
better.
thank God the reveal for this wasn't Jean Grey because that would have really been bad. It's
Oh
like, well, you're bringing her back anyway in her own solo, but like, why make a big deal about it?
yeah,
Like, so obviously that's going to play. Like, obviously she's coming back for a reason because she's no doubt going to be on the Avengers as the Phoenix.
I'm excited about
It's,
that. To be honest.
which the BC Avengers Phoenix looks remarkably like Jean Grey.
Yeah,
Maybe the Phoenix just likes a redhead, and it's just like, no, I'm going to be you forever. But
yeah. But going into also ties into this was that Sam, Jane, and Riri, they all came together and they had fighting. They're little mini Avengers, and then she couldn't say it right. Like she was doing a little cute thing of like, "Was it that?" A lot of people kind of don't like that, but I thought it was cool. I was like, I like these characters, but maybe
I
that's why.
like that moment. That to me was the legacy moment.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
It, it
Legacy.
it's the Marvel Trinity. Like let's be real. You weren't gonna get a moment without these three in this book. Like yes, they've never really met before, but it
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
that is a
They
little
meet.
weird.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people have been really pedantic. Like, oh, why is she putting that face with like the milkshake and them kissing? It's like she's a 15-year-old girl. She's gonna be annoyed that she's been sacked off, so the grown-ups can go like mac out the front. Like, let's be honest. Like,
Yeah, I don't see too
oh,
much of a problem with it to be honest, but I
people just
mean,
like to pick it apart because it's the cool thing, quotes to do. It's just
it
like, well,
it is the difference. That is the difference between the rebirth and the legacy. Where legacy, the legacy, and how it keeps it going, and what we're all about. And rebirth is what we're all about, but it was the people that have always been here.
like the fundamental difference between the two. Like,
Go ahead.
not to be like, oh, I'm so much smarter than everyone else, but I think people have missed that Rebirth was this is our legacy, we're bringing it back. This is the more, well, what is a legacy? It's
Oh,
asking
okay.
the question of what it is, because you get people going like, yeah, but Sam's not going to be Captain America anymore, so what's the point? Like the question or the message is confusing. Like Jane Foster's probably going to die, so she's not going to be Thor. You're bringing Iron Man back. It's like it's not saying
I
like this is the legacy going forward. It's asking you a question. Like spoilers. Valeria Richards, who narrates the entire thing, is asking herself that question as well.
I do love that narration, which we'll probably talk a little bit more about that at the end.
Oh,
But
we'll get to it later.
yeah. But in a simpler terms, I love that explanation. And even simpler terms, what just came up to me was like, rebirth is like this. This is I just had it in my head. It was like this is who we are. Legacy for Marvel is what does it mean to be who we are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's perfect. Like,
Yeah, so in a even more trying to get it simple, it's as simple as we can make it like that. It's
yeah,
I think they both offer up a lot of amazing, great things for comics in general, and
yeah.
I think
It's
this is
it's
a
a
big moment for comics, legacy and rebirth. I think.
yeah, like it's a similar thing. It's just different point of view, like approaching the same thing from different angles.
Yeah,
They're both dealing with legacy at the minute. So
yeah, I agree. Um, so yeah, there's that. What else to say really about it was
also Wolverine has a beer truck.
yeah, I was wondering. I knew that was gonna matter later because when he said, "Yeah, we're followed by a beer truck," I was like, "That's kind of like
Yeah.
I don't know. You didn't have to say that. I
Like
wonder what it's gonna mean."
that's 100% like a wrestling reference because Jason Aaron does like is wrestling.
Yeah, I've noticed on Twitter.
It's just like okay, Jason Aaron is kind of obvious.
Yeah.
It's like,
And then the next thing we could talk about, I guess, would have to be.
also, just quickly, people are up in arms that he called them Infinity Stones. They've called them Infinity Stones for years. Yes, they were Infinity Gems, but they've been called stones for ages. They called them stones in Secret Wars.
I thought it was either or. Like I thought you could have said any
It
way
was
you wanted
always
to.
it was always gems. The movies called them stones,
I kind of like
but
stones better.
gems are, or is it stones are unrefined gems?
Yeah, I kind of like stones better because it makes it seem like they've been here since the beginning and stuff like that, which is
Yeah,
kind of what they have been.
it makes them seem a bit more raw.
Yeah,
You know?
I like that aspect of it. I didn't really care for like gems. Just make it sound like very 70s, 80s, like very old school. Stones is a more modern take on it, I think.
It's like if people are going to complain about the stones, complain that they forgot about the seventh one.
Oh yeah, they did.
You know, you search up the ego stone and you tell me when the last appearance of that thing.
um,
It's been about 40 years.
so the other thing we can talk about is kind of like the one-offs of different characters. Where first we had like Steve, right? He was in the diner and he was like, there's like what is he doing and stuff like that. And you had Deadpool, Thor.
Very reminiscent of Superman in Rebirth, where he's like on his little chopper, just
Oh,
going where he's walking around America, and Steve's on his
yeah.
chopper
Well,
going,
actually, that wasn't Rebirth. That was I
that
think
was Rebirth, wasn't it? I swear it
DCU
was.
was where he was on his chopper and he had no powers, which no one
No,
really
I
liked
mean where
DC.
like Superman walked around America. Wasn't that in DC Rebirth? What was Superman doing in DC Rebirth? He was doing something
In the
similar to that.
beginning of this, well, he went to go look at the old Superman who died. Because in
I
DC,
swear there's
wait,
something
well, in DC Rebirth, the one shot,
like
he was
in the one.
approached by Mr. Oz, basically to say that the world needs him, and that even though the Superman died, he has to step up and be that Superman. And then in his own Rebirth issue #1, he went to go visit the Superman that died. So. And I guess this could be Cap's like thing of like I have to, even though someone else had it and they're away now, even I have to
Yeah,
go. I
yeah.
have to go back to do it. He has to
I just
regain that
remember the
sense.
Rebirth very different. Just like,
Well,
hang on.
they both had to regain their sense of being that
Yeah.
hero. Superman and Cap were always the two that were similar because they were like the iconic ones, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you had Cap doing that with the whole diner thing, which they changed the artists for. I think this is what you were talking about. They changed the artists for the characters.
Yeah, like you get a
I
little
thought it was
glimpse
cool.
of the art for it. You know, it's Chris Samney. That's how Cap's book's gonna look. It's gonna look really nice.
I liked it. Thor, he's like drinking, which is fine.
Thor, I found strange
How?
because I could have sworn in Unworthy Thor they left off that miniseries with Odin's son being like, "I'm worthy. That's not my hammer. I'm gonna get my hammer back." In this, he's still the "I'm unworthy. I'm gonna drink myself."
Yeah, a little weird.
And I've kind of find that a bit straight. Like, yes, he's kind of been like that still in the Thor book, but I don't know. It felt like Aaron might have maybe forgot about that. But
It's like, didn't he write the book?
I was gonna say it's his entire story, unless he
Um,
wrote Unworthy Thor like years ago.
yeah.
But,
Tony's back because his body's now missing, and
well, I mean, Tony's somewhere.
where the hell is Tony Stark? Right? That's the whole thing. And Mary Jane wants MJ's there. That's gonna be going forward into the whole thing. There's one about Deadpool, and he's just kind of there getting shot at,
I love that Deadpool moment.
and the artist clearly the Deadpool artist. You can tell.
Yeah, yeah. But that's probably the most Deadpool panel you will ever get.
Yeah.
Like that just shows you he is the sad clown of Marvel.
Thank you, Father. May I have another? Like, oh my gosh, it is the most Deadpool thing. Iron Fist, Norman Osborn, and Doctor Strange were all in the same page.
Yeah, like Norman Osborn's trying to get magic again because he hasn't got the Goblin formula in him,
Yeah,
and he sucks because he loses to a bush.
yeah. There's that, which is all kind of like we saw these questions beforehand, where it's like something like, "Where is Tony Stark? What is Cap doing?" So like this is kind of like the questions that we saw before, but in comic form, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because
And
remember we
also
saw
the,
something like that. Yeah.
yeah. Also, the Iron Fist and the Doctor Strange thing clearly again sets up the whole we're going to be a part of the Avengers because we're attached to the BC Avengers sort of thing.
You're gonna have to explain to me about this with Jarvis and Riri and the statue. I don't get it.
Right. Well, who's on the statue?
Cap, Giant Man, Thor, Hulk, Iron Man. I can't tell. Jean Grey, maybe. I don't know who the last one is.
Oh, you're in the exact same place as Jarvis. Do you remember when they said who is Voyager?
Yeah.
That's Voyager.
And it's like, that's why he says some things that are just wrong or different, but you never know. It's like,
yeah. So, essentially, what it is, like, they announced it last week. Her name is Valerie Vector. Okay. I think it's Valerie. A lot of people have kind of gone, oh, Valerie sounds like Valeria. Vector sounds like Victor. I'm completely guilty of it myself. That's the first thing I did. I was like, oh my God. Brevoort is adamant it's not Valeria Richards. She's Valerie Vector. She's essentially the Sentry at this point, where they've retconned her into being an original Avenger.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to play it. I don't really know much about Sentry apart from just that kind of one bit that he was retconned.
It's just Jarvis thinking like, whoa, a retcon, but I didn't notice it.
Essentially, yeah, he's noticing something isn't right.
Yeah, so that's, I guess we're all in the same, or most of us were in the same boat if you didn't.
I'd say you're supposed to be on the same page as Jarvis. Like, looking at it, like, you can see it's clearly the founding member statue.
Yeah.
But who the fuck is that?
Oh, so that, and then, because it came out Friday. Yeah, who she was, right? Yeah, okay.
Like, and no, they haven't got rid of Wasp. Wasp is on the end of Giant Man's fingers still, where she always has been. It just gets cut off in pieces. It's fine. She's still there. She's still a founding member.
There you go.
So, yeah, like, you know, and she's going to be in the No Surrender arc. We've seen the cover for that. That's obviously going to deal with that. I think Brevoort said Avengers 676, so the second issue of the 16-week thing is going to answer the questions about who she is and why she's there. So, yeah.
Fantastic Four, basically setting up that they're going to go find them, and it's like...
Yeah, it sets up Marvel 2-in-1.
Yeah.
Which I said on Twitter last week, but in case you didn't see it, I will put money on the fact Marvel 2-in-1 will last 12 issues.
Ooh.
If you add up every single Fantastic Four issue that's ever been out, it leaves 13 issues. So if you do 12 for Marvel 2-in-1, Fantastic Four 700 would be the start.
You're doing the little legwork right here for everybody listening. We got you guys. Mitch knows this. He doesn't know it, but he's betting.
Oh, I mean, like, if you look at, you can kind of, like, comics aren't hard to read.
Yeah.
Like, not like physically actually read the words, but like, read like what they're planning, and the fact that they've shown like their workings out of how they get to certain legacy numbers. Why would you not do it for like Avengers and Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
When you can, it's an easy legacy number.
See,
you want people to bring the Fantastic Four back, bring them back with it's a 700 issue. Simple.
There's another one with Black Panther and Hulk where it says it's time to come home, and I assume that's Planet Hulk, right? They're gonna bring them back out there.
Which I think that's Hulk's son doing that distress call. So the Mad Max Planet Hulk stuff is, if you're interested in that, would be fun. What was the other one?
What's Black Panther? Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda.
I fucking love this because this is a throwback that was set up by Hickman in the first issue of New Avengers.
I don't remember. Damn.
Like, even the end of Secret Wars, where it's still Wakandans sending people into space.
And they found their own universe or planet now.
Yeah, they've done that mission and they've got their own.
That is awesome. Mm-hmm. That is so. Oh, I love that. I love that.
T'Challa says they're gonna like propel Wakanda's gonna drag mankind out into the stars,
and it did.
Yeah, and it's just like, thank you. Like, I've been waiting for someone to pick that up, so I'm now officially back on the Kate's Black Panther bandwagon. I'm catching up. For that.
I hope it's. Or will Black Panther want to go out there and check it out?
I'd imagine he is.
But then he's gonna need to stay for Avengers, or maybe that could be in 2 different times. To be fair, because that's his solo issue could be doing that.
I forgot about Panther and the Avengers again.
Yeah, he has to be for the event. It could be in 2 different times. He could do out that first, and it could be like a time gap.
Like, it's probably only going to be an arc.
Yeah.
For the Kate's run, so it might not. It'll probably be done long before the Avengers stuff by Aaron comes out. So yeah, it's just a nice callback. I don't know if
I love that. Yeah.
If what Kate's was going for, but it's a thread that needed to be picked up because it was too fucking good to not like just leave a thing in there.
I
And
mean,
people are like, "What the fuck? This is weird." It's like, no, it's fucking perfect. Shut up. No, this is what Black Panther should be doing. This is what he would.
it's so good. It makes me want to go back to read it, like the trade and all that,
Mm.
the trades and all. It's so good. Going into the finale, who we realize is the narrator of this. To be fair, I thought it was Robbie the narrator at first because it made it seem that way, and then you realize like, oh no, it's not.
So
It's
you could. It was kind of obvious from the start. It's blue and white.
yeah.
The Fantastic Four, blue and white. That is.
I think it's perfect that she's the narrator in that sense because it harkens back to Rebirth where Wally was the
It's
narrator.
like she is the Wally West,
Yeah,
and like people have been saying that. No, the difference is you have like Rebirth had that through line of Wally West. Like, this doesn't have a through line. I disagree. I say Valeria is the through line. You just don't see it till the end.
yeah.
She's the one telling the story and posing the questions and being like, "Oh yeah, they're the fake Avengers. No, they're not the real one."
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, this goes. I mean, we always knew they were out there, but it'd been a while since we've seen them, right?
Like, it's just nice to know that they're doing what the Fantastic Four should always be doing.
Yeah.
Like Dad Reed's making universes, the kids are exploring them.
That's awesome. I think
Like,
that's
my only kind of like really thing is it ends on a giant galactic hand,
yeah. I don't know
and
what does
it's
that mean.
like Marvel doesn't have a giant galactic hand. I don't think.
It could be something new. Why not?
Is I mean, sure, it clearly is something new, but it is kind of like, hang on, like, where's this come from? I could be completely wrong. So if anyone knows about a giant galactic Marvel hand, let me know. I
Uh,
just don't remember anything. But no, it's nice. It's nice that they're back. And if you look at the four's very reminiscent of the four Alex Ross drew.
oh yeah.
And that concept art, which clearly was Ross saying they're back. In hindsight, why else would he have posted? Like,
Because I guess when we compare, like it's I don't like comparing it in the sense like which one is better. I like comparing it and saying like how can they build each other up in that sense. Because like with Rebirth, it had you're right. Wally was the through line. You had the emotional thing where he almost went away forever, and then Barry was able to bring him back by remembering him. But I personally love the page before the final one where she's saying, "So what do we do? I suppose we do what our kind has always done, what has become our legacy and stuff like that." And it's just her like the hand going out and her looking forward. Like to me, that's the hand like that Wally and Barry had. Like that's in my mind. Like that's almost as big of an impact, or it is.
yeah.
It's like
And
something's reaching out.
love,
It's reaching out.
like, I kind of really want Aaron to write a Fantastic Four book after this, because that little bit with Johnny and Ben was amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it's just stunning.
So
Just like,
the ending to it, where she says, "My name is this and that," I'm imagining my way home. I'll see you when I get there. Does she mean Earth? Like Earth that we've all been like? They're all so out there that they don't know where Earth is, and they're trying to get back in a sense, or she is.
I don't know. I don't know what Aaron's or what they have planned for this, how they're going to do it.
Yeah. Oh, it's also like I didn't know what. Yeah, okay, Manhattan's here, but what is this whole plan? It's like you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's like, maybe they have got lost in like
That's what I
exploring
imagine.
universes. I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be anything sinister behind it, or if it's just going to be they just come back.
Yeah. So all right, well, we're pretty much gonna end it there while Mitch is looking
Yeah,
at.
yeah.
That was Marvel Legacy. I loved it. Mitch like is in love
I say
with it.
I'm kind of glad that we didn't do it last week, because I was a bit more down with it last week than I was now.
Really?
Yeah, like I mainly like it because it felt like Aaron wrote it for me. It's what I wanted from it. So I'm just unabashedly saying like, no, I loved it. I wouldn't put it at the same level as Rebirth. I don't think it had the same impact. I don't think it needed the same impact, to be perfectly honest. Plus everything we kind of knew anyway, so I can't put it up there with Rebirth. But
Let's end the show, Mitch. Send us off.
well, you have to do it first.
Toodles.
Until next time.